Hey guys, and welcome back to another brand new video. And today we're in the heart of central London and none other than the Natural History Museum. I am probably the most excited I've ever been to come to a place, because I remember the last time I came here was over 9 years ago. And it was a school trip, and I remember so many things there, and I can't wait to see all of them once again for the second time. Let's get into it. The Natural History Museum in London is a museum that exhibits a vast range of specimens from various segments of natural history. It is one of the three major museums on Exhibition Road in South Kensington, the others being the Science Museum and the Victoria and Albert Museum. The museum is home to life and earth science specimens comprising some 80 million items within 5 main collections. When we first went inside, we were greeted by 2 comparative models of the tallest living animal in the world, the giraffe. One of them was a statue of the actual animal looking over us, and the other was a reconstructed skeleton of it. On the opposite side in the main hall was the reconstructed skeleton of the American mastodon. Mastodons had an overall stockier skeletal build, a lower dome skull, and a longer tail compared to elephants, and were thought to be taller than both Asian and African forest elephants, but shorter than African bush elephants. In the center of the main hall and positioned in a diving position was none other than the museum's reconstructed skeleton of the largest and heaviest animal to have ever existed, that being a blue whale nicknamed Hope. The craziest thing about Hope, in my opinion, is that even though her skeleton is 25.2 meters and weighs 4.5 tons, when she was found washed up in 1891 on a sandbar in Wexford Harbour, she was only 15 years old. As we walked around the hall, we came across another skeleton, this time of a herbivorous dinosaur discovered by Gregory Paul, known as the Mantellosaurus, a relative of the first ever discovered dinosaur, that is the iguanodon. Compared to the iguanodon, Mantellosaurus was smaller, estimated at 750 kilograms in weight, accompanied by proportionately shorter forelimbs. Along with the Mantellosaurus was the glass case displaying a variety of insects ranging from butterflies, wasps, beetles, and so much more. Insects are the most diverse group of animals, with more than 1 million described species, representing more than half of all animal species. It was a really cool display, although I wouldn't recommend it to someone who's absolutely terrified of creepy crawlies. Finally, on the opposite side and inside another glass display were a few extended strands of seaweed. Seaweed is actually a type of algae and not a true plant, because it lacks roots, stems, and leaves like land plants. It also comes in 3 main groups: green algae, brown algae, and red algae. After wandering around the main hall, we headed into the blue zone and went into our first large exhibition of none other than mammals. All mammals are vertebrates, meaning they have a backbone and well-developed skeletons. Most mammals give birth to live young, except for the platypus and echidnas, which lay eggs. Mammals are found on land, in water, and even in the air, making them one of the most adaptable groups of animals. As you have a look at the types of mammals, let me tell you about them. Starting off with marsupials, most give birth to underdeveloped young which continue growing inside a protective pouch in the mother's body. The most famous example is the kangaroo. While Australia is home to most marsupials like koalas and wombats, some also live in South America like opossums and even North America like the Virginia opossum. Marsupials range from tiny honey possums, which are just a few inches long, to red kangaroos, which can stand over 1.8 meters tall. Next up are the monotremes. Monotremes are the only mammals that lay eggs instead of giving birth to live young. The 2 main examples are the platypus and echidnas. Monotremes are exclusive to Australia and New Guinea, making them unique to this region. The platypus has an electrosensitive build that detects tiny electrical signals from prey in the water, making it an incredibly skilled hunter. Put on display individually was the skeleton of an extinct giant known as the Diprotodon. The Diprotodon is the largest known marsupial. It stood 2 meters high at the shoulder and was over 3 meters long. Next to the skeleton was a small model of what it would have looked like if it was still alive. Along with the Diprotodon was a collection of toothless mammals. Toothless mammals belong to a group called Xenartha, which includes sloths, anteaters, and armadillos, or other specialized mammals that lack teeth. Opposite them was a case containing the different species of a scaly mammal known as the pangolin. Pangolins are the only mammals covered in protective scales made of keratin, the same material found in human nails and rhino horns. The next type of mammal I'm going to talk about are flying mammals. While some mammals like flying squirrels can glide, bats are the only mammals capable of true flight using their flexible web wings. Bats make up about 20% of all mammal species, with more than 1,400 species found worldwide. Then we have the canines. The canine family includes dogs, wolves, foxes, coyotes, and jackals, with species adapted to diverse habitats from icy tundras to deserts and forests. Canines have an incredible sense of smell, with some species able to track scents over miles and even detect diseases in humans. Next to the canines were my cousin Gopi's favourite type of mammals, that is the big cats. Big cats like lions, tigers, leopards, and jaguars are apex predators, meaning they're at the top of the food chain and play a key role in controlling prey populations and maintaining ecosystem balance. In another display were the bears, which are considered to be distant relatives to us humans. There are 8 species of bear, including the grizzly bear, black bear, panda, and sun bear, each adapted to different environments and diets. Bears are generally omnivores, meaning they eat a mix of plant-based foods and animals. Many species like the grizzly bear and black bear enter hibernation during the winter months, slowing their metabolism and living off stored fat.
Displayed right next to the polar bears was none other than the largest land carnivore, that is the polar bear. Polar bears are specially adapted to life in freezing temperatures and are apex predators. Their fur also appears white, helping them blend in their snowy environment. As we carried on, we saw the skeleton of a saber-toothed tiger, also known as the saber-toothed cat. The saber-toothed tiger had long curved canine teeth which go up to 18 centimeters long. The final mammal group that you see here is a collection of small carnivores. Small carnivorous mammals include animals like weasels, ferrets, minks, and civets. These animals typically have sharp teeth and claws adapted for hunting smaller prey like rodents, birds, and insects. Hang on a second, we're still not done with mammals, as there's an entire hall dedicated to the much larger mammals ranging from elephants, dolphins, horses, and in the center of all of it, a life-size model of the blue whale, which took up the entire length of the room. As soon as I saw it, I was left in complete shock as the nostalgia of being in my favorite section of the museum rushed back to me, and you know what? It is still my favorite part of the entire trip. Our first large mammal on the list is none other than the hippopotamus. Hippos spend much of their time in water, typically in rivers and lakes, to keep their massive bodies cool and protect their skin from the sun. They can hold their breath for up to 5 minutes while submerged. Adult males can weigh up to 1,800 kilograms and have incredibly strong jaws capable of crushing bones and delivering bites with a force of over 1,800 pounds per square inch. Next up is the largest living land animal and also my all-time favorite animal, that is the elephant. There are two species of elephant, the African elephant found in savannas, forests and deserts across Africa, and the Asian elephant found in forests and grasslands in India, Sri Lanka, Southeast Asia and parts of China. Elephants are known for their high intelligence, with abilities to use tools, recognize themselves in mirrors, and exhibit complex emotions such as grief and empathy. Then there are the many types of antelopes. There are over 90 species of antelopes, ranging from the tiny royal antelope, which is about the size of a rabbit, to the large eland, which can weigh over 900 kilograms. Unlike deers which shed their antlers, antelopes have permanent unbranched horns that grow throughout their lives. In another section in this large exhibit was a Bactrian camel. Bactrian camels have two humps which store fat, not water. This fat reserve helps them survive in extreme desert conditions. The next large mammal is the rhino, an animal that can rival the hippo and elephant in size. The three species that you can see here from left to right are the Indian rhino, also known as the great one-horned rhino, the white rhino, the largest rhino species, and the black rhino. A rhino's skin may look tough, but it is sensitive to sunburn and insect bites, which is why they often roll in mud for protection. There is a scale where you can compare mass to the mass of another large mammal such as a camel, an elephant, and also the largest land mammal ever, the Paraceratherium. I compared my mass to that of a blue whale but got absolutely humbled as I found out that it is 1,066 times heavier than me. Now that is brutal. We then went upstairs and explored the types of mammals that live underwater, including the most common of them, the cetaceans. Cetaceans encompass over 90 species of whales, dolphins and porpoises, inhabiting all of Earth's oceans and some rivers. Cetaceans are divided into two suborders, being the baleen whales and the toothed whales. Many cetaceans are highly social and communicate using a variety of sounds such as clicks, whistles and songs. Cetaceans evolved from terrestrial mammals approximately 50 million years ago and inhabit all of Earth's oceans and some river systems, showcasing their adaptability to various aquatic environments. As well as this, their closest living relatives are hippopotamuses. Many cetaceans exhibit complex social behaviors living in groups called pods. They communicate through various sounds and physical interactions such as slapping the water's surface with their tails or bodies. Some cetaceans are remarkable divers. For instance, certain species of beaked whale can dive down to depths exceeding 900 meters and remain submerged for over an hour. The lesser known marine mammals are known as sirenians. Sirenians, commonly known as sea cows, are the only group of marine mammals that are strictly herbivorous, feeding primarily on sea grasses and other aquatic vegetation. They comprise of 4 living species: the West Indian manatee, African manatee, Amazonian manatee, and the dugong. Despite their aquatic nature, sirenians are more closely related to elephants and hyraxes than to other marine mammals. The Steller sea cow, a huge sirenian discovered in the 18th century, was driven to extinction within 27 years of its discovery due to overhunting. We then saw a display of toothed whales hanging off of the room ceiling. Some of the whales there included a bottlenose dolphin, a narwhal, and an orca, also known as the killer whale. Toothed whales include a wide range of species such as dolphins, porpoises, beaked whales, and the sperm whale. There are approximately 73 species of toothed whales. Unlike their baleen counterparts, toothed whales possess specialized structures that enable them to produce and receive sound waves, allowing them to navigate, hunt, and communicate effectively in dark or murky waters. While many toothed whales primarily consume fish and squid, some species have unique dietary preferences. We came back downstairs to the ground floor, and before we left we went to another section behind the rhinos that featured a few ungulates. Ungulates are mammals characterized by hooves, hardened keratinous structures covering the tip of their toes. These hooves provide support and protection, enabling efficient movement across various terrains. While many ungulates are herbivorous, some exhibit omnivorous behaviors. For instance, pigs are known to consume both plant matter and small animals. Many ungulate species are also social animals, forming herds or groups that provide protection against predators and facilitate mating opportunities. Humans have domesticated several ungulate species for various purposes, including transportation, agriculture, and food production, which has significantly influenced human societies and economies. Ungulates inhabit a wide range of environments from grasslands and savannas to forests and deserts. Their adaptability to diverse habitats have contributed to their widespread distribution across continents. After going through the museum's mammal section, we went to their cafe and had some lunch that we brought from home, although you still had options to eat there. That's where I learned about a giant panda known as Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi was a giant panda who became a beloved figure at the London Zoo. Chi-Chi's arrival in the London Zoo in 1958 made it the first giant panda in the UK, captivating the public and drawing visitors from around the world, and her presence during the Cold War era symbolized the rare cultural exchange between East and West, as she was gifted from China to the United Kingdom. We then headed to a corridor hosting a variety of reptiles, amphibians and fish. After admiring a leatherback sea turtle, the largest sea turtle that was above our heads, we first had a look at some snakes. Snakes are ectothermic, meaning they rely on external heat sources to regulate their body temperature. This adaptation allows them to thrive in various environments, from deserts to rainforests. As well as this, while approximately 70% of snake species lay eggs, others give birth to live young. Next to them were a group of frogs and toads. Frogs have moist, smooth skin and longer legs, distinguishing them from toads, which have dry, rough skin and short legs. Toads also produce toxic secretions to defend against predators. Afterwards, we saw a variety of lizards. Like snakes, they're also ectothermic, allowing them to thrive in various environments, from deserts to rainforests. Lizards exhibit a wide range of dietary habits. Some are herbivorous, feeding on plants and fruits, while others are carnivorous, preying on insects, small mammals, or even other reptiles. Alongside them were a group of turtles and tortoises. Turtles and tortoises are among the oldest reptiles, with a lineage dating back to approximately 220 million years ago. In the next section of the corridor were two displays showing a bunch of crocodilians, starting off with the black caiman alongside its skeletal replica. Black caimans are the largest members of the caiman family, reaching lengths of up to 5.2 meters and weights of around 363 kilograms. The other display hosted some more crocodilians, such as a false gharion, a juvenile saltwater crocodile, the largest living crocodile in the world. Crocodilians have an ancient lineage with ancestors dating back over 200 million years ago. We finally moved on to the fish collection, starting off deep under the sea. Many deep sea fish possess the ability to produce their own light through a chemical reaction known as bioluminescence. This adaptation aids in attracting prey, communication and camouflage in the pitch black depths of the ocean. We then traveled closer to the surface, where we were greeted by the cartilaginous fish, which are none other than our beloved sharks and rays. Cartilaginous fish have been around for over 400 million years, making them some of the oldest surviving vertebrates on Earth. Unlike bony fish, which have a single gill cover, most cartilaginous fish have 5 to 7 gill slits on either side of the head. We finally emerged out of the sea and headed to rainforests and mangroves, where we were greeted by multiple bony fish. Many fish that live in rainforests and mangroves have adapted to survive in changing water conditions, including fluctuating oxygen levels and salinity. After learning about reptiles, amphibians and fish, we were sent back in time as we walked through their dinosaur exhibition. As we strolled through the exhibition, we came across some paleo, with the first one being a pack of Deinonychus attacking a Tenotosaurus, and the other being a waterhole hosting multiple species of hadrosaurs such as Parasaurolophus, Myosaur and Edmontosaurus. We then went into a room that was crowded with eager visitors who were gazing in amazement at a scientifically accurate animatronic of the Tyrannosaurus Rex. The animatronic T-Rex is designed to be 3/4 the size of a life-size T-Rex, providing visitors with a close-to-life encounter with this prehistoric predator. But in reality, the T-Rex could grow up to 12 meters long and weigh around 9 tons, making it one of the largest carnivorous dinosaurs. After admiring the realistic dinosaur animatronic, we continued to explore the exhibition and came across another work of art, this time of a juvenile sauropod, which I assumed to be an Apatosaurus, getting hunted by the largest predator of its time, that is the Allosaurus. As well as that, we also came across the head of a Tarbosaurus. Also, like I did with the Indominus Rex at the Land of Lights, I successfully managed to touch its teeth. Next to both of these were two awesome fossils. The first fossil belonged to the head of a Pachycephalosaurus. This dinosaur had a thick domed skull up to 25 centimeters thick, which some scientists believe was used for headbutting in social territorial disputes. The other fossil belonged to the tail of a Euplocephalus. As a heavily almond ankylosaur, Euplocephalus had a large club-like tail that is likely used as a defensive weapon against predators like Tyrannosaurus and Albertosaurus. As we walked down the dinosaur section, we came across another pair of fossils. The first one was of a skull of a Parasaurolophus. Parasaurolophus had a long curved crest on its head that may have been used for communication, amplifying sounds, or even regulating body temperature. The other fossil was the skull of a relative of the Triceratops known as the Centrosaurus. Centrosaurus had a large nasal horn and frill adorned with small spikes, which may have been used for display, species recognition, or defense against predators. We then came across the huge skeleton of an iguanodon that was reared on its hind legs. Iguanodon had a distinctive sharp thumb spike, which was likely used for defense against predators or for breaking open tough plants. Opposite the iguanodon was another large fossil of one of its relatives, the Edmontosaurus. Some fossil evidence suggests that Edmontosaurus may have had a soft fleshy crest on its head, possibly used for communication or display. As we carried on, we came across another animatronic, however this time it was of the small Deinonychus, a relative of the Velociraptor, which in contrast to the films was quite short. As a swift and agile carnivore, Deinonychus hunted in packs, making it one of the first dinosaurs to show evidence of social behaviour while hunting. We also had a look at the preserved fossil of the Coelophysis. Coelophysis was one of the earliest known theropod dinosaurs, and it is believed to have been a fast, agile predator that hunted in packs. The next complete skeleton that we saw was of the famous Ceratopsian, the three-horned Triceratops. Triceratops was a plant eater and likely fed on low-lying plants such as ferns and cycads, using its beak to shear plant material and its teeth to grind it. Opposite the Triceratops was the perfectly preserved bony plated armor of a Scolosaurus. Scolosaurus was a type of ankylosaur with a heavily armored body, including thick bony plates and spikes along its back and tail for protection from predators. I was suddenly dwarfed when I looked up at the towering skeleton of a sauropod known as the Camarasaurus. It had a relatively short neck compared to other sauropods, but is still quite large, growing up to 15 meters long. Despite its large size, Camarasaurus is also likely faster and more agile than some of the other giant sauropods. We were finally shocked at the skeleton made up of fossils, which was of a dinosaur known as the Baryonyx. Baryonyx was a fish-eating theropod dinosaur, and its long curved claws and narrow crocodile-like snout suggested it specialized in catching fish. After we finished our trip to the land before time, me and Gopi went up the first flight of stairs in the main hall, where we were greeted by a plaque unveiled by Her Majesty the Queen to celebrate the museum's 100th anniversary, and also the man who created the theory of evolution, Charles Darwin. After a quick glimpse of Hope the blue whale from the top of the stairs, we walked across the first floor and came across different bird species, specifically the birds that are classified under the bird types pheasant and fowl. Pheasants are known for their bright colourful feathers, especially the males, which often have iridescent colours and intricate patterns to attract mates. Take the peacock for example. We all know about their beautiful feathers. In some cultures, pheasants are symbols of beauty, prosperity and good luck, and they feature prominently in folklore and art. Meanwhile, there are hundreds of different breeds of fowl, each with unique characteristics such as size, colour, feather patterns and behaviour. Fowls are highly social creatures and typically live in groups called flocks. They communicate with each other using various vocalizations, including clucks, crows and quacks. After looking at the birds, we went up another flight of stairs where we got an even better view of the main hall. It was stunning to see the true size of Hope properly, and my eyes were all over the place in amazement because of the beauty of the building itself. The museum's building was designed by renowned architect Alfred Waterhouse, who was also responsible for designing other notable buildings like the Manchester Town Hall. The museum's design is a prime example of the Romanesque Revival architectural style, characterized by rounded arcs, thick walls and decorative brickwork. When we got to the top of the staircase, we were greeted by Guy, a Western lowland gorilla who was London Zoo's much-loved former resident. Just next to Guy was the museum's treasures gallery. The gallery is special as it contains many artifacts that are so rare that some of them, including specimens, are the only ones in the entire world. Let me tell you about some of them. Number 1. The Barbary Lion Skull. This lion was the jewel of the Royal Zoo in the Tower of London around 700 years ago. It's also the oldest lion found in the UK after the extinction of native wild lions. Number 2. The first skeletal specimen of an Archaeopteryx. Scientists now know that dinosaurs evolved bird-like characteristics long before the appearance of Archaeopteryx, the late Jurassic fossil sometimes referred to as the earliest bird. This is the first skeletal specimen ever found and one of the most scientifically important fossils they look after. Number 3. Charles Darwin's pigeons. Darwin bred pigeons in his garden as an experiment. By crossing birds with different characteristics, he could generate different offspring. Through this artificial selection, he gathered valuable evidence for his theory of evolution by natural selection. Finally, before we called it a day, we went to the hallway that was home to many well-preserved skeletal fossils of the many prehistoric marine reptiles, such as plesiosaurs and ichthyosaurs. However, the majority of these wouldn't be here if it weren't for the famous fossil hunter Mary Anning, who I learnt about all the way back in year 1. Mary Anning was a self-taught fossil hunter who made significant discoveries in the early 19th century, including the first complete ichthyosaurus and plesiosaurus skeletons, helping to shape the field of paleontology. She collected fossils along the Jurassic coast in Lyme Regis, England, an area rich in prehistoric marine fossils from the Jurassic period. At just 12 years old, Mary Anning and her brother discovered the first complete fossil of an ichthyosaurus, a large marine reptile that lived during the Jurassic period. Ichthyosaurus had a dolphin-like body with a stream-like shape, a long snout filled with sharp teeth and powerful flippers, making it a fast and efficient swimmer in the ancient seas. She also discovered the first nearly complete plesiosaurus skeleton, a long-necked marine reptile that challenged existing scientific ideas at the time. Plesiosaurus had a long flexible neck and a small head and 4 large flippers, which it used to glide through the water similar to how sea turtles swim today.
So I've just come out of the Natural History Museum and I had an absolute banger of an experience. Like I said, the experience was so immersive and it was so nostalgic, going and seeing all the things that I loved seeing back in year 1, which like I said was 9 years ago. Before I say goodbye to all of you, I just want to give a huge thanks to my very loyal cousin Gorby, because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have been able to come here in many few more years. But anyways, thank you guys for watching this brand new video. I do hope you enjoyed it. Please do make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye! Hello.